Hey, hey, hey. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Sean Arthur here. And I come to talk to you today about the 5 stages of grief. 5 stages of grief and loss that you might have experienced. I don't know if you like me, but I have experienced a lot of loss over the last 5 years, including the loss of both of my parents, my aunts, plural. Three of my aunts passed away. One passed away just a few weeks ago, and my family has been in a cycle of grief. And so today, I just want to kind of talk about the 5 stages of grief. Some of this is based on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and the work that she has done. And so I know there are a lot of people who go through loss or experience some kind of trauma in their life, and it brings them grief, and they don't necessarily have the tools or the steps or even know what is happening, and that grief is a process. And so I kind of want to talk to you about the five stages of grief, and this can be ongoing because death often, I'm speaking about death in specific, death often is something that you get over. It's actually something that you go through because for so long your life has been attached to somebody or has been, you know, they've been an intricate part of your life, the memories you shared, the life you made together. And so you just can't divorce yourself from that. But there are some things that you can be aware of mentally, cognitively, in as it is in relationship to grief. While death happens every day, and this is something I say, it is different every single time. Hello, hello. What's up, Dr. Freeman? My cousin Keosha. What's up? What's up? Y'all can do me a favor and share this. But death is so common. It happens every day, but it's different for every person based on the relationship that you have with the person who may have passed away. All right. So here are the 5 stages of grief so that you can have some kind of tools and some awareness of grief and death and how to manage it when it comes your way. All right. So the first stage of grief is denial. The second stage of grief is anger. The third stage of grief is bargaining. The fourth stage of grief is depression. And then the fifth step, the final step, is acceptance. Again, I'll go through that, list those again. Number one, there is the denial phase. There is the phase of anger. There is the bargaining phase, the depression phase, and then finally acceptance. All right, so let's look at the first one, denial. It's like when you hear the news that the person has passed. It's like, oh no, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Not them. No, not them. Some people may have found themselves saying that. Some other people may have been in a state of shock. And in the state of shock, they're like, no, it can't be them. Their life is too big. Their smile is too grand. They had so much to live for. And as a result, then it just seemed like something that you can't believe it, especially when it's a sudden loss. Even if you knew it was coming, it seems hard, right? So depending on the relationship you share with that person, your life may be uprooted or altered altogether. But people who are in denial can often become withdrawn from their normal social society, from your normal behavior. They can become isolated, and denial has no set time frame, and may even never be felt at all. However, it is considered the first stage of grief. Denial. No, not them. I just can't believe they've been taken away from me. I just can't believe that they're not here anymore. It's like, wow, I can't imagine life without them. So then that denial can then lead into anger. And the anger is where you are upset with the person. Like, why did you have to die? Why did you have to leave me alone? Why I'm gonna be left in this world alone by myself now? You're no longer here. What am I going to do? These are some questions you might have found yourself asking. Like, what am I going to do? Who's going to help me through this? Who am I going to turn to? And so anger begins to build up. And when this anger builds up, you're trying to figure out the emotion of like, how am I going to live life without this person? And how am I going to move ahead, right? So when the anger is focused towards the deceased leaving you behind, then you sometimes can feel hopeless. You can feel down. You could just be feeling really angry at them. Like, how could you leave me like this? And I want to say to somebody, if you've had that question, you've had those statements, it is absolutely and perfectly normal to experience anger when someone has passed away. You'd be like, man, you had so much to live for. So why now? God, why did you take them? Why did you take them now? Why now, God? Right? So then from the anger, which is the second stage of grief, you move into bargaining. You start like trying to negotiate, especially like with God. For those who might be religious, you might be saying, God, why did you take me instead? Why them and not me? Or you try to say, well, I'm gonna, what if I could have did this better? Or what if I did that better? And you start saying, maybe I'm gonna turn my life around. And I'm gonna do something different. You're like, maybe God, maybe can you just turn this situation around? Lord, can you just raise them up from the dead? Just you start bargaining. You're trying to hold on to some chips. Maybe I'm gonna get my life together. Maybe I'm going to get better relationships with the people around me. And so you start bargaining because subtly it's an idea of control, something that you can control. That maybe God, if you just help me through this, then Lord, I'm gonna live my life for you, Lord. Why not take them? Why take them instead of me? They weren't bad. I was bad. And those are the kind of things you might say to yourself. But you begin to bargain and reasoning within yourself. But it's a sign that you are starting to comprehend the situation a little bit. You're starting to understand that this is real, right? Because when it comes to death, there's a finality to it. And that is the hard part. You're not able to hug them anymore. You're not able to kiss them anymore. You're not able to celebrate birthdays with them anymore. They are literally gone. They no longer have a presence, a physical presence in your life. And so now, after you've gone through the denial and the anger, the bargaining is when you finally begin to accept that this person is not going to be there. And so you are trying to hang on to what you can, but the acceptance of it is starting to come. The reality of it is starting to set in. And so we start bargaining. And then after the bargaining phase comes depression, where depression sets in, where you might find yourself going into solitude. It's where you start sitting with the emotions, the hurt behind the loss of this person. It's where you begin to just think about all the beautiful memories that you all had, the wonderful times you all spent together, and it makes you somewhat sullen and withdrawn and taken aback. And people might say you're not the same anymore, or you're not feeling the same, or you're not your usual self. And absolutely, you're not, because you haven't experienced this loss. You haven't lost this person. This person is no longer in your life, right? And so in this phase, you get depressed because you're thinking like, I no longer have this person with me. Their influences is no more in my life. All I could think about is the things that they said and the things that they did. But you don't have them physically there. So the depression begins to set in, right? This happens because the finality of the situation is crouching in on you. There could be some confusion and some cloudiness, and here's the stage where you got to be really careful that you don't slip into clinical depression, because you may think that there is nothing to live for. But I wanted to absolutely declare that yes, it is. There is something for you to live for. There is some motivation you need to keep. There is some goals you need to achieve. So in this phase, you're just sitting in the reality that I no longer have this person around, and I have to accept it. And you're wrestling with the emotion of that. And this is something that can be ongoing. I got to wrestle with emotion that I just can't pick up the phone now and call my mom. I would often be traveling, driving somewhere, and I just pick up the phone and call my mom, and we just talk for several hours. And she would laugh, and we would talk. She shared some colloquialisms with me. I share some experiences with her, and so thinking about that now, I don't have that conversation. So it sends me sometimes to tears, or I want to be withdrawn to just think about the memories and times that we shared together. But again, the bargaining phase now is driving you to depression. And the depression helps you to realize the emotions. This is when you can wrestle with all of your feelings. And it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. No one can tell you how to grieve, right? And the depression is the fact that you are starting to accept that they are gone. Nobody wants to do that. It's hard to let them go. But you got to let them go, because now there's a new reality for you. There's a new life that you have to lead and live. All right? And then finally comes the step of acceptance. You actually accepting that the person is gone. This is when you perhaps start moving their stuff out, or cleaning out the house, rearranging the furniture, putting a box of keepsakes. Is where you start saying, okay, I know that they're gone, and now I have to accept this, and now I have to move forward. I can't stay stuck here at the reality of their loss. But what can I do about it? I can go through it. I can live. I can take their life as motivation for me to accomplish the goals and dreams that I have. This is where you begin to think, what would they want me to do? They would want me to live. They would want me to prosper. They would want me to keep going. And so as you accept the loss of this person, you have to think about the good things, all the stuff that they have poured into you, so that you can make a difference, right? And you do it in their memory and in their honor. And this time of year is when death and loss starts crashing in upon you, because there are so many memories that are created around this time, right? And so when you begin to accept it, you see the pictures and you think about the recipes and all of that, is to say, yeah, I know that they passed. But here's what you can do. You can honor their life. You can have a special flower or a special thing that you do each year. Spend some time remembering their birthday, or the anniversary you all shared, or thinking about the first place that you met. And you can put it in a safe space in your life where you celebrate that person, celebrate their influence in your life, so that you ultimately don't stop living. Because here's the reality, right? I don't care if you're religious or not. Death is inevitable. Our body's only going to live for so long. And so the more tools we have when it comes to that, when it comes to death, the better we can handle it. Some people turn to antidepressants. Some people turn to medications. Some people turn to alcohol, drugs, and numb themselves. But I want to suggest you don't have to go those routes. There are some other ways to channel this emotion, so that you can continue to live a prosperous and blessed life, even with the absence of that person. At my young age, I lost my father in 2016, and then my mother in 2019. My father died suddenly, And then my mom went on a rapid decline in her health just 3 years later. Wow. How do you go from two parents in short amount of time to no parents? How do you deal with that? It's something that every day I have to think about. But I do know the things that my parents poured into me. One thing my dad always says, son, you got to go to work. You got a family. You got something to live for, something that motivates you. What motivates you? What pushes you to live? My mother would always say this to me. She would say, son, delay is not denial. And so when I think about the delayed points in my life, it doesn't mean that I haven't been denied. In other words, my mom was saying, son, you got to keep setting goals. You got to keep setting some dreams and dreaming and have some aspirations, because there's some things that you have to accomplish. And you can't allow the death of your loved one to stop you. They will want you to keep living. They will want you to keep moving. They would want you to keep setting goals for yourself, because there's a lot of life left to live. For somebody here, I'm going to be prescriptive now. It was descriptive, but for somebody here, you need to change your environment. Changing your environment is going to help you. Take a vacation. Take some days off. Take this weekend and go somewhere to get your mind off of it. Because sometimes that environment, staying in it, doesn't allow you to have a mental break. But you need that mental break. So take a break. Get away from the environment. The other thing is write down some stuff you want to do. Some things you want to accomplish, right? Or even think about something that they wanted to do. And maybe you can do it in their honor, in their name. You can honor their life without it stopping yours. Their memory lives on with you. Think about the things that they said, the things that they did, how they poured into you, and then pour that into somebody else. Hey, listen, I'm going through grief. I'm in the process of grieving. I just wanted to share these things with you. Tonight at 9 p.m., I am going to be on a Zoom. I'm going to open up my Zoom. If you want to jump on and just talk about the loss of your loved one, that's 9 p.m. East Coast time. I'm on the East Coast time, so that's 9 p.m. East Coast time. So if you want to talk about the loss of your loved one, just want to hear just want to be heard, and you just talk about the memory of your loved one, I will be available tonight. I'll put a link on my Facebook page where you can just click on that link, and at 9 p.m. East Coast time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you want somebody to talk to, I'll be available for about 30 minutes to hear you out, just let you talk about the loss of your loved one. All right. I hope that this helped you. Again, the 5 stages of grief is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally acceptance. So hopefully this gives you some kind of reference point to understand maybe where you are in the process of your grieving. All right. Hope this helped you. You guys have a blessed rest of your day, and God bless you. I want to say a prayer for you, though, because I believe in the power of prayer, that God can be a difference maker in what you're going through. Father, I pray right now in the name of Jesus for every person that is hearing this or will hear it at some point, that, Lord, it will give them some hope and inspiration, that, Lord, that they're not strange and crazy for what they're going through, and that they are going through the proper steps of dealing with the loss of their loved one. So I pray you give them courage and strength to keep living every day with the motivation that, Father, they can make it. They can go through this. They can get through this by your grace. So give them strength. Walk with them. Provide them peace and comfort. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. God bless you. God bless you. And tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to put a Zoom link on my Facebook page. And for 30 minutes, just want to come and talk. 5, 10 minutes, whatever. I'm just here to listen. All right. God bless.